Hey guys, so I wanted to post my attempt at a quick video here just to kind of like recap where how we're doing on like behind the bar with our kind of recent ish switch to three bartenders on the weekends and how we're doing with that, how we are perceived to be doing with that, like on Shendet's end, and with the new cocktail rollout, how that's going and stuff like that. So um, I'll try and make it quick. I know some of this is going to be like a little redundant, but I think that's partly the point too, because some of this important stuff that we just kind of need to like continue to get drilled at us, like, is just going to make us better, like, and consistent with making sure that we're doing it. And just going to be good for like consistency across everyone, and like when it comes to like cleaning and like making drinks consistently and all that kind of stuff. So just bear with me and please watch to the end. Um, so first off, I want to say that like this past weekend, I think that we all handled really, really well. So Friday was super busy, and Mackenzie did awesome behind the bar. Um, Making drinks, everything was, everything's pretty new still to her, obviously. And the new drinks are new to everybody, and everyone did really good. She's catching on real fast, and that's awesome. Mike had mentioned, I didn't even realize it was his first time handling bar top on his own Friday, and I kind of floated between the two, and he handled that awesome too. Um, Tyler isn't in this chat, but he's doing an awesome job. Always has a great attitude. Like, is just happy to bar back for us, which you know, you know, we haven't found someone with such a great attitude about bar backing yet. So that's really nice to have that energy back there with us. I think I can speak for everyone in saying that. Um, Saturday wasn't quite as busy, but still, like, I think that we all handled like the three behind the bar well. It did get busy like later in the night. Anyway, those who were there know, whatever. Um, Last night we got fairly busy with the wine, really encouraging servers on the wine contests, and it seems like they're really starting to put more effort into selling those new wines, because we've been doing a lot of wine lately. And Aaron rocked bar top really well on his own too. So anyway, I just wanted to give a shout out to everybody because I think everyone's doing a really good job on like handling more than what we used to. I think it's fair to say, on our own, and so that's just putting more money in our pocket because we're splitting with less, and y'all know the deal. But we just have to keep that energy going. Uh, we can't really like take this like time of like three behind the bar on weekends for granted, because it's been difficult to convince Shendet to be okay with that, and we have to keep him convinced, especially as we start getting into busier seasons here. Once like kind of the periodical like lull, I guess you could say, of like fall starting and school starting, it seems to be a little slower at night, and stuff like that. That's, I think most of all of us know pretty well that that's going to end soon. And fall and into the holidays are really our busiest season, and so I don't know if we're gonna have to bring four back behind the bar or not. We're just gonna kind of take it as it comes. But the best thing that we can do, to keep more money in our pockets and keep our claims higher for each of us, is to keep just attacking everything like we have been, hustling like we have been on everything, and so that we're not giving Shenda any reason um, to think otherwise, that we can't handle it. And I think that often the number one way to do that is to always be making sure that bar top is clear. So always pre-bussing for people, clearing anything that they're not using. If they're done eating, like, get their silverware and linens, everything out of the way for them. Um, when they leave, like, especially when we don't have a bar back to lean on a little bit for that, like, clear everything right away. Like, we just need to have our eyes on the bar top all the time, be in multitasking mode as you're doing something. Be scanning the bar. If you don't have hands to get there, then ask someone else. Like ask the next person. Ask your coworker next to you if they can run over and grab that quick. So I just want to go over a few notes that I have from the weekend. As I said, bar top is number one. The bar top staying clean and reset, and the tickets being as short of a line to grab off the printer as possible, I think seem to be the top two things that Shendet's noticing. If those things are not being kept up on, then he's going to start thinking that we can't keep up. So really just want to, be on that as much as possible. It should never sit dirty. No one should be waiting for drinks. All that. We all know that. We've all been doing really good about that, to be honest. There's always going to be moments, it's hard to prevent, every now and then it's going to happen, but, we just have to do the very best that we can. And so that just make it our goal for it to never happen, for bar top to never stay dirty. Anyway, I'm rambling, but, it's one of the most important things. I have notes down here in front of me. So, over the weekend, I think this was just on one day, it might have been Friday, and it was busy, and I get it, can't always prevent this 100%, but we wasted 2 beers, 2 craft beers. They were 2 Spiteful working for the weekends, a Miller Lite bottle, 3 to 4 cocktails had to be remade, and I want to say there was even more than that, but obviously mistakes happen. No one's immune. I'm not immune to that either. I'm not going to act like I am, but we just have to do our best to not let any of that happen, because we're technically supposed to pay for anything that is made that isn't getting sold. So because I have to rein in everything and void it if I can, and so and I can't void everything. I can't comp everything. I have to comp it if it's been made and we didn't sell it, if it was a mistake. So everything has to be accounted for. So that's why I've also been telling the servers, if they fuck something up, they have to re-ring it so that we get a ticket for it, and then they have to go and get the other one comped later. But I can't go through and comp everything that is a mistake. I'm going to start getting questioned for it, and so we are going to end up having to pay for things that are fuck ups, and so any of that waste costs money no matter how it goes. If we're not paying for it and I am comping it, that's costing the restaurant money, and Shendet's going to question that after a while. So I can't save us from all those things. And anyway, again, I apologize for rambling. Sometimes it takes me a sec to get to my point, but we're going to have to pay for it at some point. So please do everything you can to prevent those mistakes. On that note, yesterday, Aaron and I had someone walk out on his tab. It was a $64 tab. He had a salmon dinner and I think 4 glasses of wine, and we had to pay for that tab. I couldn't comp that. There was clearly no convincing Shendet to allow me to comp that, and so we had to split the cost of that, and that we felt that hurt. It fucking sucked. Nobody wants to do that, but I take it as a learning experience. I hope everybody else does too. As a reminder that it is on us. We weren't doing our job by not noticing that guy just left, we just figured he went to the bathroom and was coming back. He was up and down, back and forth to the bathroom frequently that night. He was there for a long time. We were closing up. We were focused on closing up and all that too, but we can't let that happen. We have to know what's going on with our guests at all times. And on that note too, when we are closing up, I know that we all know we have there's a lot that goes into opening and closing up that bar. And so we want to get started on it as early as we can, an hour to an hour and a half before closing time, even if there are 2 behind the bar, or even sometimes 3 on the weekends at closing. But anyway, we can't let that distract us from our guests. They are always, always, always number one. There shouldn't be people having like a low water glass or dirty dishes in front of them, or waiting for their tab, or waiting for another drink, or anything at all when it comes to service, just because we are also like focused on closing up. We can't be too focused that we're not giving them the attention that they deserve. So please remember that. Something else that I noticed when like serving someone a second glass of wine or another drink or whatever it may be, serve the ladies first. Always serve the ladies first. I think that it's just like, I think it's just a good bedside manner, if you will. I think it's just good service. I think it's just polite. I just think it's a good way to do things in the type of setting that we're in. When you're serving a bottle of wine, like, ask if they would like you to like pour it to taste, or if you can just go ahead and you can and pour up the full glass. And you know, a lot of times you can feel that out with people, like when you know that they're regulars and they know that wine or whatever the case. But you know, have a conversation about it. Like, and again, when serving a second glass of wine, ask, is it okay if I use the same glass, or would you like a fresh glass? When someone orders like a basic cocktail, like not something off of the cocktail menu, ask if they have a liquor preference. So like, for example, like anything that hasn't been on the menu before, like something basic like a Cosmo. Do you have a vodka preference? A regular plain margarita? Do you have a tequila preference on that? You know, and like if they say, like if they ask what we have, or they ask if they have a certain tequila they do, like for example, like that's an easy upsell. We're making more money that way. It's more money in everyone's pocket. So it's just an easy question to ask. On that note, like food upsells too. I just like, my mind got thinking about like, you know, what more we can offer behind the bar. You know, it might not always look the same as like when you're serving a table, for those of you that serve, but like from behind the bar, like whenever you're serving pasta or pizza, you can always ask, like I always ask even when I'm just like taking the order, when they order the pizza or the pasta, can I bring you Parmesan or red pepper on the side with that when it comes out? Always offer bread. When you sell a steak, always ask, would you like any sauteed mushrooms or onions with that, or maybe a Parmesan butter crust on top? You know, like those are like solid upsells, like to increase your check. And then of course on salads, always be offering shrimp, salmon, or chicken on top. Most often, like people say yes, you know, when I offer that. And then when people order dinner, like I always offer like not just bread, but like I would always say like, would you like any salad or bread while you wait? You know, and like a lot of times I honestly have people say like, yeah, actually I'd like a side salad or a small Caesar or whatever the case. And, you know, those are big upsells too. So just some things to keep in mind. Please bear with me. I know this is a few minutes, but this is important stuff, I think. And I just want us to like be on our best. No, we need to know our wines. We need to know what all the wines by the bottle are, what kind of wines they are. We need to be familiar with everything that we're serving. Please go over everything. Please, like, don't be wondering, is Duckhorn a Cabernet or is it a Merlot? It's a Cab, by the way. But, like, know what type of wine everything is so that you can sell it. It's very important as bartenders back there. Like, we have to be familiar with everything that we're selling. So please, on your downtime, just be looking at everything. I don't care how long we've been there. Like, we can always use a refresher on things. And on that note too, yes, it's important to be highlighting the new stuff right now, but also remember that we do still have some of the old like bottles of wine and some old beers. So we still have Decoy, we still have the old Merlot, we still have a little bit of the old Zin. Check the beers. We still have the Maplewood Charlatan. We're slowly running out of those things, but remember that, you know, if someone asks about like a red blend, for example, let them know that we still have the Decoy, you know. Check the beers. We still have the Maplewood Charlatan. We're slowly running out of those things, but remember that, you know, if someone asks about like a red blend, for example, let them know that we still have the Decoy, you know. Check the beers. We still have the Maplewood Charlatan. We're slowly running out of those things, but remember that, you know, if someone asks about like a red blend, for example, let them know that we still have the Decoy, you know. I know it's a lot to remember and keep in mind. And of course the new stuff is a little more important, but just some things to remember too. When you are making these new cocktails, please lean on the recipe list. Please, please, please have it open and on the bar at all times, because like I made that list and I don't even remember every single ingredient, every single step of every single drink yet. Like, we can't be too confident that we do know everything about it yet, because like there's so much. Garnishes are wheels, peels, wedges, like they're on the rim or they're floating in the martini. There's an egg white or there's not. Like, there's a lot of stuff that goes into that 27 cocktail list, and I really need everybody to be consistent with like how everything's being made between everyone. I think it's really important, and the presentation is important. Please keep that recipe book open. I'm going to be dropping off like a laminated book of sorts today that's going to have the recipe list, cocktails for the new cocktails, and also I've got a list. Yes, I'm in my car on my laptop at my son's school. So anyways, I made this one too. So we'll have the cocktail list, and we'll have this list too now of everything. This is everything that's in the tab that's labeled cocktails in Aloha. So all the old cocktails that were on the previous menu, and then all like, you know, kind of generic traditional stuff like a Cosmo and an Aperol Spritz and Irish coffee, Bloody Mary, like everything. If there's any more that you can think of, please like let me know and I can add it, or just kind of post it and add it in there yourself in the book. But there's a number of pages in here. It breaks down to, at the beginning I listed, I think we all know this by now, but just so that it's clarified, the house liquors are still the same. We haven't changed house liquors just because like the new cocktails have a different specific liquor in them. Like, they're better liquors. They're like, you know, Rush Creek's better than new vodka. It's a local distillery. I think like it's gonna be like eye-catching to have that in there, and you know, something better for some other drinks like the Empress and the Casamigos Añejo and some of those others. But there's a ton of cocktails that we still do make, like everything that's on this list, that are not on the cocktail menu, and consider these liquors the house to be making those for. So Sazerac's going to be used for a lot of things like the Rye Sour and the Upper Manhattan, but Rittenhouse should still be used for other things too, like a Sazerac cocktail, or if someone asks for like a rye or like a whiskey sour with rye, but they don't want it up with an egg white, use Rittenhouse. So I know that it might seem confusing right now, but again, I put a lot of time into these guides. Please use them, and it's going to give you everything you need to know if you forget or get confused about what's what and what needs to go in what and all that. So this will be printed. Everything will be in the book. Opening, closing duties will be in the book. They're going to have check marks, and they're going to be laminated. So I need everyone to be taking a dry erase marker and checking off each and every shift. If you open or if you close, this needs to be out. Check it off, initial the page, and then I will be able to see the next day. Like, I mean, obviously I know the schedule, I know who's opening, who's closing and everything, but if I see that you went through and check marked, and then I see that something didn't get done, then I'll be able to we'll all be able to be held accountable to that. Like, hey, I see you checked this, but it doesn't look like it got done. What the hell? You know, can we please do better on that, etc. Blah, blah. Anyway. That's that. So they're all going to be in the book. Let me flip this around. Let me check my notes here, guys. Oh, a few more need to knows really quick. So I was recently looking at the Luxardo cherry can, and it literally actually says do not refrigerate. So we're going to stop refrigerating those. We're not going to keep them in the bartender garnish caddies anymore. We're just going to keep them in a glass or like little jar like we were the blueberries, and we'll keep them on the shelf like by the bitters now. That's what we'll store them in a dry place, not refrigerated. Please remember that. And so when you're referring to your open list, you can kind of probably, you know what, forget I said that. Still pick the same amount of glasses full of picked cherries per shift at the end of the night. I'm not going to get too nitpicky about what that looks like when we're closing that up. Either just cover the picks and store the glassware where you can. The glass is full of picked cherries. They can even go back in the can if you wanted to, like the ones that are not picked. Because we should be using a glove to get them out anyway, so there shouldn't be any like sanitary question in putting them back in the can. Anyways, we're gonna have a spot for dirty microfibers now. I think that most of us have been getting confused about or not really knowing for that matter, like that the ones on the bottom shelf in that corner shelving area are dirty. They've been used too much, or they've even been used to Windex the doors, which also please always be doing that. At close.
Incoming call. Oh. Press the pickup button to call rejected.
Excuse me. Anyways, those microfibers are going to be in like a ice bucket for wine that we don't use, like just one set aside to not use for that and use for the dirty microfibers instead. We're going to keep them down by those glass bottles that we use for juices in the other corner. Please don't put dirty glassware up on the bar top, like in front of the dishwasher. Please leave all like dirty glassware clear of the bar top. I just don't think that it's a good look, especially when people are sitting there. I just don't think it looks good. And also like the sanitizer bottle, let's just keep it on the back bar, like not up on top of the bar. Leave the tags on the kegs from now on, because the beer distributors are having a hard time identifying whose is whose. So I think we've been doing a pretty good job of that lately, but just something to keep in mind. I never thought it was something that needed to be done before, but they've recently brought that to my attention. So if you change a keg, make sure that tag gets left on it. If you need to take it off to use as reference to write on the board or whatever, by all means, but just put it back on there. Make sure you're unplugging the dishwasher at night and cleaning those screens as needed. And also inside the door of the keg cooler, there's going to be a list now of updated kegs that are on like a lineup to come next. So when you take a keg off, there should be a list of what keg you should pull from the back to put on next, because it's specific to the type of beer that it is to come on next. So we have a good balance of differentiation there. About those cherries, make sure that like when you do take them out of the can, put a label on the plastic wrap or whatever you put them in, and just notate like the date that the can was opened. I think that's it. I know this was long, but I hope everyone listened to the end, because these are some important updates and I want everyone to be on the same page. Again, I think we're all doing great, and let's keep up the good work. Bye.